Online focus groups, how do they work? The webinar presentation today will be provided by Joel Schmaltz, itracks VP of Client Development. Joel first started his career in the market research industry in 1999 with itracks. He was hired to oversee the qualitative services division. Joel helped develop and pioneer a large number of the online qualitative research tools in use today throughout the industry. Joel led the development of the first iteration of itracks' leading bulletin board focus group software, now known as itracks Board. After a brief period as an IT consultant, Joel returned to itracks in 2006 and assumed the management responsibilities for the systems and subsequently led the operations group for itracks from 2008 to 2012. Joel has spent the last couple of years working in a business development role and assisting companies leverage technology to develop solutions that satisfy their research needs. In addition, he assists clients in finding the value of transitioning their current research practices into online and mobile environments. Go ahead, Joel.
Thank you, Garnett. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I'm looking very much forward to a big audience with this session, and I think we're going to have an exciting Q&A period at the end of the webinar, so I'd encourage you, as Garnett mentioned earlier, to ask as many questions as you'd like during the presentation and afterwards in the chat area from the GoToWebinar software. So where I'm going to get started here is we're going to take a look at kind of a transition or a story between what a traditional focus group looks like and what an online focus group looks like. So with qualitative research, the engagement in an online focus group is held typically through computers or mobile devices. Computers can cover desktop computers or laptop computers or some of the newer micro-computing devices that are now available. Tablets, of course, would be included in that mobile category. They're really an effective alternative or even a complement to the traditional face-to-face experience, which I have a screenshot of here in my presentation. We can allow clients to watch from the virtual back room online in our focus group technology, just as you can have that same experience in a physical brick and mortar experience. And we'll get into some of the different types of online focus groups and virtual back rooms that are available in our technology platforms in a few moments as we go through the slide presentation. So here's a bit of an illustration of what happens in a virtual setting. What you're seeing here is a client behind the virtual two-way mirror, if you will, and then we have a moderator and participants represented by our graphic here on this particular slide. So clients still have the opportunity to observe a focus group session online just as they would in the real world in a traditional setting. Moderators are going to be asking questions, and the participants will be able to provide answers to those questions, and the moderator actually has an ability to probe here in an online environment as well, and some of that probing interaction is a little bit more seamless in an online environment. Clients have a direct way to communicate to a moderator. So for instance, as a group's maybe winding down, instead of the moderator excusing himself for a few moments and walking out of the focus group room and into the back room and having a quick discussion with his clients in the back room in a physical setting, in the online environment you actually have a way to communicate directly with your moderator, whether it's via text, messaging, or other methods depending on the technology that you're leveraging. So it's really great too in the online environment where clients are actually in a dedicated virtual back room and they can talk amongst themselves without impacting the flow of the discussion. And then when they want to probe or ask the moderator to probe, they can communicate directly with the moderator. And the moderator at any time can kind of see that backroom chatter that's being spoken or written by the client observers in that back room. It really depends on which technology that that you've chosen for the research. So when clients are talking privately in the back room, it's really great, and this graphic here is illustrating that interaction where the client is able to talk seamlessly to the moderator, and that's something that I mentioned just a few moments ago. But this graphic kind of illustrates that probing ability by the moderator and the client, providing that guidance to the moderator. The moderator here in this graphic, we're illustrating that in the prior slide, the client was providing some direction to the moderator for probing, and then the moderator has come back into the main room of the discussion in the online technology and is now probing. So these are some great graphics that just kind of help us to illustrate how the online environment works, and it is very similar to a traditional experience. So we're going to next kind of illustrate some of the parallels between the online and traditional focus groups, and we'll demonstrate this through the use of one of our core product offerings here at itracks. It's the online focus group software. This one's called itracks Chat. This is where we got our start in the late 90s with this technology, and it's continually been improved over time. So here's a quick screenshot of the itracks Chat platform, and this is a technology where respondents are typing the respondents and moderators are asking questions from a preloaded discussion guide, and we'll talk about that in more detail as I go through my presentation. So here's a couple of differences that we're correlating between a traditional experience and then the online experience. So the waiting room on the left side is where respondents would come and sit and wait for the focus group to begin, and they may be greeted, offered a cup of coffee. Here in the online environment, in the graphic to the right, we see that there is still a waiting room in our itracks Chat platform, and we're actually providing some greeting, in this case from the moderator, but itracks does provide dedicated support hosts as well. So whatever your preference, if you'd like our support host to greet everybody and engage just in some idle conversation with the respondents, kind of warm them up, get them comfortable with the technology, we can offer that as a service for you. We can also see just to the right of the waiting room area, from the moderator's perspective, we can see which respondents are currently logged in, and the WR beside their names here is indicating that they're in the waiting room currently. So in this example, the discussion is not yet started. So here's just a kind of a zoomed-in screenshot of the waiting room and the responses that are happening, and then again that user list. So you can see clearly that all of these users are in the waiting room currently. So on this next slide, what I'm illustrating is the traditional focus group experience. So we see a typical looking focus group room. This one is looking like it's going to seat 10 respondents and a moderator at the head of the table, and we can see the two-way glass, and we've got the camera feeds up on the walls as well. And then in the online focus group setting, in the chat-based platform, we see our main discussion area here where the discussion is going to take place. So what I've circled in red here is just an illustration of a comparison between a traditional focus group and the online focus group setting. So here we're zooming in again on that same graphic, so we can see the moderators going through some warm-up activities as the discussion's getting started, and we've got some responses coming in from the respondents as well. And then over on the right-hand side here, we see the preloaded discussion guide, which Graham is leveraging to post questions directly into the chat area for the respondents to discuss over the course of 90 minutes. 90 minutes is pretty typical for an online chat-based focus group. One nice thing about itracks Chat is that it is a great piece of technology that allows respondents to reply to answers from the moderator concurrently, versus in a traditional setting you may have respondents answering one at a time. So you can actually get through a little bit more content in an online chat format than you can in a traditional setting. So again, the back room, we're illustrating that here. We've got a couch just slightly out of view where the observers can sit to watch the session. And over here, I've circled the back room in the online environment so we can see that the chat, the observer, is asking a private question of the moderator, and the moderator is indicating that they'll probe on that comment from the back room. And then we have some chat as well amongst the client observers here inside of the back room. So again, a very similar experience whether you're online or in a traditional setting. Now, of course, with the online methodology, you can do this from the comfort of your own home. With tablet computing, you can do it while you're in bed if you'd like. It's really, really pretty slick. Again, here's a zoomed-in screenshot of that experience with the backroom messaging, the moderator's comments, and then, of course, the main room area. From a reporting perspective, this is one of the significant advantages of an online focus group, is the fact that your transcriptions from your session are immediately available following the group. You can download the file as soon as the group is over. In the traditional setting, we're going to be transcribing the session, and those are typically available 24 to 48 hours after your session ends. So with the itracks chat platform in particular, this is a really nice advantage of conducting online focus groups, is you can get that transcript immediately following your session. We also have provided some filtering options here, so you can exclude, for instance, all the waiting room comments and all the back room comments, and you can pull down just a main room discussion. So that's kind of a neat advantage as well, and we can also include or exclude private posts inside of our filtering options. And then down here, we're seeing the default file format, which is a Word document, but you can actually pull down an Excel version of the transcript as well, which will allow you to sort and filter right inside Microsoft Excel. So a lot of our power users will use the Excel version of the transcript download. So again, here's the zoomed in screenshot just to give you a better look at it of our different filtering options and the download option here as well. One other thing that I didn't mention on the previous slide is that we can include post times as well, so you can actually get a time-stamped transcript for the entire session. So here are the key steps to conducting an online focus group. It's very similar to a traditional focus group with the elimination of any travel time that may be required going to the facility. And then, of course, there is no geographic limitation to conducting online groups. You can actually host online groups across the entire U.S. As an example, and bring everybody together into a single group. So step one, you would be recruiting your participants and then sending out your email invitations. Step two would be to program a discussion guide and then perhaps add any stimuli you'd like to display. So from a stimuli perspective, you can put anything in an online focus group that you can put on a web page. So whether it's video, whether it's custom markup exercises or drag and drop exercises, or whether it's images, you can easily integrate that into your discussion guide and your online focus group experience. Then you would conduct the group, so you're interacting with the respondents, and then also interacting with your clients in the back room, and perhaps probing for deeper responses to your questions. And that's one great thing about online focus groups, is it really gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of taking the group in maybe a different direction when you uncover those aha moments that come out of an online session. And then step four is reporting, so you can download that transcript immediately. In our video-based focus group platform, you can actually stream the session back immediately following the group or interview. And then we have an asynchronous offering as well, which is a bulletin board platform, which allows you to, again, download those transcripts as you're going through the discussion or immediately following a 3-day discussion as well. So this is a really great graphic, and it's a bit of a flow diagram that really explains recruitment for online and mobile research. And in the first section here, we're seeing our screener development and programming of the screener. A few things that are really important is we really want to set those expectations up front during the recruitment phase. So for instance, if you're integrating any video responses in our asynchronous platform, our bulletin board focus group platform, you really want to set that expectation up front and let them know that we are going to want you to log into the software from a mobile device, record videos, whether it's of the dash of your vehicle or perhaps it's you prepping food in your kitchen or using a product that we maybe have shipped out to you, like a vacuum cleaner, for instance. We really want to set those expectations up front. And then, of course, compensate them from an incentive perspective appropriately. So whenever you're doing an in-home usage test, for instance, with our technology, it is going to result in some additional incentive budget. Then we program our online screener, test it, and begin the recruiting process. One thing that we added in the last year or so is the ability to well, in fact, it's something that we've done over time, over many years, but we've really kind of formalized the offers. We've got the ability now to bring people into our asynchronous bulletin board platform directly from a screener survey. So that eliminates some of the challenges with sending out those invitations and bringing people in at a scheduled time versus bringing people in immediately following the screening process. So the screener in-field is the next area in the flow diagram, and from a recruiting perspective, we're either recruiting from online panel sources or perhaps customer supplied lists. We can potentially work with multiple suppliers or work with our own proprietary panels. You would also receive daily updates from a project manager, and we'd also determine if there's any additional equipment needed. So for instance, if you're doing webcam-based interviewing, perhaps respondents need webcams. The itracks recruiting team can facilitate that, although I don't send out too many webcams these days, as most people have webcams now in their home computing environments. Mail-outs if applicable, so this can include sending products for testing, again, sending those webcams if necessary, or it can even include non-disclosure agreements. So if you need a strict non-disclosure agreement from the respondents, we can facilitate a fax back or an email back of that type of contract with the respondents. Participant checks, so with some of our technology, we suggest perhaps doing technical checks on their hardware. We also want to test to ensure that their computers are compatible. This is really important in the webcam-based video focus groups. We also can offer telephone confirmations and then rescreens over the telephone once participants have been recruited. And then the study's running, so whether it's a real-time engagement or an overtime engagement over the course of 3 days, let's say, we do offer reminder calls and emails, reminders to the respondents, and then of course there's the moderator engagement and probing during the study when it's running, whether it's a real-time based focus group or an overtime bulletin board based focus group. So here are the main types of focus groups that itracks offers, and we cover the full range of activities. So you've heard me mention some of these. I'm going to call them out now by their specific product name. So itracks Chat is the software that we were looking at where people are typing with their keyboards. itracks board is a bulletin board technology which also includes in-home usage testing capabilities, journaling or diaries through what we call interview mode bulletin boards, and then also the ability to run mobile-based video ethnography studies. So our itracks board product has a full mobile suite of software that's available on iOS devices and Android devices. We also have the itracks community offering, which has everything that the itracks board has, plus the inclusion of a points module, and then the ability to host up to 300 or 400 users at a single time, and so that's a great offer as well. And then an itracks video chat. So itracks video chat probably is the most representative or closely resembles a traditional experience in a focus group facility because we do have webcams that are set up, and you're able to see your respondents' reaction to stimuli or questions that you're asking, their facial expressions. And I would say probably about 60 to 70% of our groups in the itracks video chat platform are interviews, one-on-one interviews, and then the remainder would be focus groups. So we call it a Brady Bunch style because you'll see some screenshots coming up here that gives you a quick example of how those sessions look. So just to do a bit of a deeper dive into each product, itracks Chat's a real-time focus group. We recommend running those between 60 minutes and 120 minutes. I would say the average run time for one of these sessions is about 90 minutes. The recommended sample size or number of respondents that you're going to be talking to during the course of the session would be between 8 and 12. I would say 8, 9, or 10 are probably our most common numbers of respondents in that particular platform. And then the discussion again is real time. Everybody's logging in at a scheduled time. So when you're recruiting for people to participate on Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern as an example. The report output is a transcript that we talked about in our screenshots earlier. And then we have an any language capability offered. So right now the technology is translated in a number of different languages. So if you're working with international clients and you have a need to do research in Italy or France or Germany as some examples, we have our entire interfaces translated into those languages. And something that's unique to itracks Chat is that we offer it in any language. So if you run into a language, let's say Turkish, for example, and it's not yet available on our platform, all we need is 10 business days, and we can put Turkish into the platform at no cost to you. The chat, the back room is also patented, so we have a process patent on the backroom interaction from our technology, and so that's a great thing to consider when you're looking at suppliers who are utilizing online qualitative services. Here's a screenshot of the chat environment again that we saw earlier. Here's another great screenshot that illustrates some of the things that really work well for live itracks Chat focus groups. Areas with limited internet bandwidth. So if we go into emerging markets, for instance, Brazil or Argentina, other markets like China, where the government is controlling how much bandwidth is available in the mainland, these are great options for itracks Chat. Also, projects with tight deadlines, itracks Chat's much more flexible in terms of bringing people in with compatible computers and able to get projects up and running. We've actually done really quick turnarounds with projects start to finish in this particular platform because there is really no need for any respondent technical checks or ensuring that people have webcams. Basically, if you have a computer with a web browser and internet access, even with slower internet access, you're good to go in this platform. Also, projects that require anonymity, so any healthcare-based research, the itracks Chat platform is a great option. Again, I talked about the language availability in this platform. We offer any language in this particular platform. And then it's also great from a user experience perspective, as participants and moderators, their best experience is from a computer or a laptop, while observers can certainly view the sessions from their iPad or even a mobile device with a larger screen. So pretty flexible technology. What you're seeing up here on the screenshot also is an example of our concept evaluation tool, iMarket. So you can actually have respondents marking up a concept in real time, and you as a moderator and your clients can actually see all that markup happening, whereas the respondents are only seeing their own markup. So this is a really cool tool for doing concept evaluation research. Any gut check research is also a great, this makes itracks Chat a great option. If you just need to do a final check on something before you go to market, this is also a great tool to leverage. I see ad agencies use this platform as well if they're putting together even a proposal, for instance, to go to a client. What they might do some quick and dirty research inside of this platform because it is so efficient. The itracks board platform is a great option too. This is bulletin board software. We have a fully integrated online discussion and mobile app, which I mentioned. You can see here on our screenshot. I've got links to the Apple Store and also the Google Store. So we have 3 distinct mobile apps that are available in this technology. Project time frame is typically 1 to 7 days. I would say 3 days is probably our average run time these days, but we do a lot of 7-day projects as well. Our recommended sample size for these projects is going to be between 15 and 20 participants. It does support up to 50 before extra charges are introduced. But I would say the optimal number here is in that 15 to 20 range. That's really your sweet spot, especially if you're dealing with a single group of customers or 1 or 2 segments. Those are great numbers to start with, because when you start going beyond 20 participants in this technology, you start hearing the same stories repeated. So in qualitative in this particular platform, 15 to 20 is great. And the nice thing about bulletin boards as well is you can sometimes get the 2 or 3 focus groups worth of responses out of a single bulletin board technology investment. So very affordable tool to use with your online qualitative research. So the discussions are threaded. Participants are logging in at their own convenience. So this is, again, a great tool for B2B audiences, C-suites, healthcare professionals, any audiences that are maybe a little bit tougher to get to agree to come in at a scheduled time. I know I've heard lots of great stories about getting together with doctors in a hotel and running some in-person focus groups, and having over 50% of your docs not show up because they get busy and are not able to come to that scheduled time focus group. This is where the bulletin board really makes a lot of sense, because they can log in at their own convenience. The report output is a transcript. We embed all of our media directly into the transcript, so videos, images, they're all thumbnailed right in your transcript, and you can actually view the videos online in our platform just with the click of a mouse, and then as long as you've got internet access, you can see the full videos or images that have been captured in the technology. And then again, we have language capabilities offered in this platform. We're offering currently 15 languages in the itracks board platform, and again, we're talking about the patent on that backroom interaction from the clients behind the virtual two-way mirror. Here's a couple of screenshots of our mobile interactions. So we're seeing our iPad app on the left and then our iPhone app on the right, so we can see that we're playing back a video in the iPhone, so the respondents have the ability to fully participate from mobile. They can interact with other respondents, they can play their videos, they can record their own videos, they can take pictures and upload them to the discussion. They can receive push notifications. Moderators and observers also have a mobile interface that they can log into. I like to suggest to moderators to install itracks Mobile and hook it up to their discussion boards. It's there anyways. It's set up with every discussion board in our platform, and the reason I suggest that is because you do get push notifications as well. So if you're probing respondents, for instance, and they reply to your probe, then you as a moderator will receive a push notification that Seth has just replied to your probe. So that's a great way to make your moderation time more efficient with the technology. So with mobile, it's great for in-home usage testing or any video, ethnography, or diary studies, and then, of course, concept testing is also a great option with the platform. itracks community, so again, the core technology behind our community offering is itracks board, but there are some changes. We allow with community up to 400 respondents logging in. The project timeframes are going to be 1 month plus, so we introduce special pricing at the 1 month mark for running communities. And then again, it's an asynchronous discussion, so participants are logging in over time and at their own convenience and able to participate. What we're seeing here in the screenshot is a listing of profiles, so you can really leverage the profile technology where people upload avatars, which you're seeing here. Everyone's got an avatar in this particular example, and you can ask any type of custom questions around the profile settings as participants log into the community. Again, we have multiple language capabilities. The points module is what I'm referring to here on the leaderboards bullet point, and again, we have a fully integrated mobile app as well with this platform. So here's a quick screenshot of our leaderboard, and we can see that points are being allocated to the different respondents who are participating in this particular community. For consumer-based communities, the points module is a really effective way to generate interest in participating. We use a little bit of gamification theory here by displaying the leaderboard to all the respondents, and then we're also awarding incentives based on how many points they're earning during the session, and this really can make your incentive budgets a lot more manageable for running communities, and we've got some great success stories that we can talk about offline from a community perspective as well. So itracks video chat is the next screenshot here, and this is another one of our core product offerings. You can see here that we refer to this as a Brady Bunch style focus group. We've got a number of webcam feeds up here in the technology. We're asking some polling questions below. These are really close to a typical experience when you're at an in-person facility. Our project time frames are between 30 minutes and 2 hours. 30 minutes is pretty common for interviews, while 2 hours is fairly common for the Brady Bunch style focus group that we're seeing here on the software. So our recommended sample size is up to 6 participants. We don't have a hard limit on this, so we do run a few groups occasionally for up to 8, but 6 really is the ideal number in this particular software. Again, this is a real-time interaction with a group of respondents, so it's scheduled, and everybody is recruited to log in at a specific time. So again, this is that Wednesday night group at 7 p.m., but the geographic limitation that you have with a traditional facility is eliminated here. You can bring people in from anywhere in any geography, just as long as they're logging in at the same time. The report output here is a video file. You can stream that video and audio recording immediately following your session, or we provide an offline recording within 24 to 48 hours after your session has closed. Again, we have about 8 different languages available in this technology as well. And again, we talk about our patented backroom with the itracks video chat technology. So here's an example with our respondents evaluating a concept. We can see that there is some markup occurring here on this particular example. And we're also seeing our back room now. So you can see here the respondents the observers are talking amongst themselves in the back room, and then the moderator sees this at all times as well. So if they have any direction, or if the moderator is receiving direction from the back room, they're getting it here from the chat area. Also one of the really nice things about itracks Video Chat is we actually book multiple conference rooms for each session. So your clients have their own dedicated teleconference back room, so they can actually speak amongst themselves, just as they could in a traditional setting. They can actually talk amongst themselves right in their teleconference back room, which does not disrupt the moderator, because the moderator and the participants don't hear any of that discussion. The only way in this technology for the client observers to interact with that moderator during the session is via this back room here that we're seeing in the screenshot. We can also see all of our participants who are currently logged in to this particular session, and over here we have some different layout options where moderators can actually jump to a different layout very quickly and easily, just with a click of a button. So I'm getting close to the end of my presentation. I've got some case studies that I wanted to review with you where we've conducted online focus group technology. So this first example was a beverage study. It was done by a major supplier, and it leveraged actually a couple of different online focus group technologies, itracks Board and itracks Video Chat. So our main research objective here was to find out how hydration fits into an active lifestyle, and we targeted a customer segment in a specific geography. We were looking for feedback from a specific geography, and we started actually with a week-long journal in itracks Mobile and itracks Board, and the respondents were able to upload videos of their beverage experiences, and then we could see some of or record responses on their feelings and emotions, but we could actually see videos of them interacting with their different beverages and seeing how that hydration again fit into their active lifestyle. We also had them go out and take photos in their home of where they were storing their beverages in the house. So in some cases, people are storing all their beverages in a refrigerator in the basement. In other cases, it was in cold storage areas. It was really neat, though, to kind of go into that home environment without sending, a video ethnographer with the respondent into that home. So again, it can make some of these types of project engagements a lot more cost effective. And then we took our really strong respondents and invited them to participate in interviews with the itracks Video Chat, so we could have that real-time interaction with the respondents and see them on video webcam. So a great example of leveraging a couple of different products for a single project. This next one that was conducted was an in-home usage test. This was done by one of our clients, Great Blue Research, and they were asked to conduct research for a large cleaning systems manufacturing company. And the objective here was they were looking for insights into customer flooring and cleaning needs, and they were also testing new products, prototype products that they were looking for sample across the U.S. So prior to doing this study online, they actually had done the study in prior years by physically traveling with a research team and a video ethnographer into the respondent homes. The client was really interested in doing this project again, but they had a budget constraint the year that this project ran, and so we were able to work with our client and provide a budget to do this online without that requirement to go in the home with the video ethnographer and with the research team. There was multiple phases to this project. We ran some online quant surveys which were integrated into the discussion board platform, and then we captured a ton of video with the experiences with the products in the homes, and that was used or that was done by leveraging the mobile video data collection capabilities. All the product was shipped out to the respondent and then return shipped to the client with return shipping labels. So a really great experience overall on this particular project, and it was a very large project, but the client was really happy. We actually had a client testimonial written as well for based on their experience, and you can actually see this case study and this testimonial up on our website. So this is a great example of really leveraging the itracks technology for in-home usage testing. The next case study that I have here to talk about was a mobile ethnography and video interview. So again, we're combining multiple technologies here from an itracks perspective. We had the itracks board and mobile platform, and we were also using itracks video chat for conducting interviews. So we really needed to go into the homes of patients and see the medical devices that we're using and understand how they were utilizing the devices again in their home. And our client really needed a solution that would allow capture of quant responses for segmentation, as well as the qualitative responses in the form of video and device demonstration. And this project was very successful again, and we were able to provide all the technology for this particular project, and the respondents had that opportunity again to record their feedback from mobile and submit videos. And the nurses were able to participate from anywhere. We didn't have to bring them into a facility. We did a lot of, if I recall correctly, we did a lot of rescheduling because nurses work a lot of overtime, and sometimes their schedules are a little bit unpredictable. So when we did get through all of our interviews, and those were conducted with the itracks video chat platform. So we've also got a great testimonial here from our client in this particular case study as well. And again, these examples are available up on our website, and this one is a great illustration of leveraging itracks video chat and itracks board. The next one is also a very interesting case study, because this time we were sending respondents into the store and also in their home. And this is a major produce supplier to grocery chains, and they were really looking for consumer feedback in time, or they were looking to launch a new tomato product for an upcoming holiday. So it was the #1 grilling season of the year, where they sell the most tomatoes, and they really wanted to get some feedback and understand why people were using one particular tomato over another. And this project would have been very difficult to organize in the time frame that they had allotted to run this test. And we did it at a fraction of the cost of a traditional method. So I remember that when this project actually ran, it was very tight timing. So the technology we used here was the itracks board with the mobile add-on, and I've got some great video coming up here that we can share in terms of this particular project. So here's one of the video highlight reels that we created as a part of this project. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this back, and you can experience some of the video that's being collected from mobile devices. So here's the shopping experience, and then we move into the in-home. This video gets a little scary. Don't worry. He gets really close. Just give great examples of how the technology can be leveraged in the home and in the shopping activities. So here's some general benefits of online focus groups. It allows for more in-depth conversations, and what we mean by this is, in particular with the itracks board product, you may get paragraphs of a single response from a respondent versus just one sentence that you might see in a typical setting. They're really cost effective. If you bring 25 people, for instance, into a discussion board, you're getting about 3 focus groups worth of responses back in a single discussion board. Also, from a chat and a video perspective, you eliminate, any of your travel costs. Your incentives are a little bit more affordable. You can also eliminate any client travel. So if you're bringing clients into Chicago, for instance, from their New York office, you can eliminate, hotels and those types of travel expenses. So it's also a great solution for fast turnaround projects. We've done a lot of projects, 3 or 4 days, start to finish. But that's not the typical timing, but if you do have kind of a bit of a rush project, we can certainly talk about accommodating those types of requests. The availability in any language in the chat platform is a great advantage of the technology, and being able to go and do those international studies in multiple countries without having to travel to facilities in those countries, which really can drive your costs up. And using technology is a great way to communicate, especially with younger demographics. Now, what I'm saying here is it's not necessarily great for just the young folks. It's also great for people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. We've done a pile of research in that senior demographic as well, and had great success now, because this technology has been around for a long time, and everybody's got high-speed internet at home, and people are really comfortable on the internet for the most part. But what we're saying here with this point in those younger populations is they're communicating now. Sometimes people in that teen age group, they're communicating via text messaging for a large portion of their communication with their friends. So they are expecting to be asked questions in these virtual or online environments. I've got some tips here for getting started. Education is really important. At itracks, we offer free training on the technology, and there are other training programs available out there that we can point you at. There are some resources on our website as well if you're interested in paid moderator training. You can also hire experienced online moderators to conduct your group or co-moderate with you. One thing to really consider is selecting a high-quality platform supplier. itracks specializes in online focus group technology, and so security is a really big deal, especially if you're doing research for any large brands. They're going to have corporate IT security policies that you have to adhere to, and they may even ask you to subject your supplier to a security review, and we're talking about penetration testing and vulnerability assessments. They may want to do a penetration test on your client's environment themselves before they actually even approve running the online group. So it's very important that you're picking somebody that does have, a strong information technology team that can respond to these types of requests that could be coming in. If you're a brand as well who's working with a technology supplier like itracks, that's an important consideration as well. Also, the breadth of the offering. So at itracks, we offer virtually any type of online qualitative focus group technology, whether it's journaling, diaries, video ethnography, in-home usage testing, real-time chat, real-time video. We offer everything under one roof. And then, of course, the ability to maintain the project. So we do provide dedicated project managers and client managers to support your project. And then online and text communication is also expressive, but in a different way. So it's important to develop strong techniques for getting the most out of your online research data. So here again are a couple of resources that I mentioned that are available up on our website. The URL is right here. I've actually got a screenshot of the website page for our resources. There's another case study that I'd like to recommend you looking at, and it's from a webinar from Mindy Maraglia, and it's a really great video that you can watch. We recorded this webinar, and I would recommend to anybody that's considering online for the first time or even the second or third time, pardon me, to review this video on our website. And again, it's available here at itracks.com/resources. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand control of the webinar back to Garnett, who's going to facilitate a bit of a Q&A session with everybody today. So Garnett, it's all yours.
Great. Thanks a lot, Joel. All right, we have some great, interesting questions. Thanks for submitting them. Joel, can you comment on the potential for the moderator to be distracted by multiple observer comments when he or she should be focused on what the respondents are communicating?
Yeah, definitely. So what we recommend, and as you go through the training with our client services team and when you engage with our business development team, what we recommend is that you nominate a backroom, not moderator, but a person in the back room that is going to be the conduit to the moderator. So the client observers will mainly talk amongst themselves, and then they'll have one person in the back room that's going to communicate with that moderator. And as long as you set those ground rules up front before the session occurs, that is the most effective way. So the sponsor in the back room that's going to be interacting with the moderator, that's who the moderator is going to listen to when those probing responses come in. So that was a great question, something I didn't cover during the presentation, but I'm glad that question was asked.
And if I may add, one thing to note in the itracks chat software, the backroom discussion can go on independently, and if they would like, they can send a message, a private message to the moderator into the main discussion, and so that could be a process that the observers and moderators could work out as well. And during the video focus groups, there is a separate phone line that the clients can discuss on, and then they can just give those more action-oriented comments into the chat backroom on the software interface so that it can minimize the type of back and forth that the moderator might have to deal with during the group. All right, next question here. Joel, can you please describe itracks' recruiting and rescreening capabilities?
Yeah, definitely. So our typical methodology for recruiting is we start with an online screener. So respondents are invited to participate in a brief online screener. And once we determine that they're qualified to participate in the research and they've agreed to participate at a scheduled time, we would mark them as recruited, but then we actually phone them over the telephone, and we rescreen the individuals over the telephone, and then we confirm their understandings of the project and of their obligations to participate, and then we would consider them fully recruited. So that's we refer to that as a bit of a hybrid approach, and that's what our typical methodology is. We're testing some new methods now for recruiting, which we're pretty excited about, and hopefully we'll have another webinar in the near future to discuss alternative recruiting methods as well from an online perspective.
Great, thanks, Joel. All right, next question. We are a company who uses vendors a lot to conduct research. If we use itracks, can you do the whole research project from recruiting to discussion guide to moderation, or do we still need a vendor who will then utilize this tool?
Well, here at itracks, we're primarily a technology services company, so we provide all of the technology, and then we also have a dedicated services team that manages recruiting. And then if you need moderation, we do have an ability to connect you with moderators, typically from the QRCA, who will be willing to engage with you and conduct moderation. But the itracks core focus here is becoming the world-leading online focus group technology provider for this industry. So that is where our primary focus is.
All right, thank you. All right, the next question here, compared to in-person focus groups, how do you need to modify the questions when using the chat or board modules? I'm asking because it might be hard to determine which question is being answered. For instance, if there's a thread of replies and then someone types yes, how do you know which questions they are answering?
That really comes with a little bit of experience. So we have a few different varieties, obviously, of online focus group technology. So let me cover these differently. So with the asynchronous platform, the bulletin board platform, some of the things that you have to do a little bit differently is you have to provide maybe a little bit more warm-up activity as people are logging in for the first time and getting used to the software. In terms of mobile video ethnography, for instance, you definitely want to start with more of a fun exercise for recording the videos versus jumping straight into your research objectives. You also are going to have introductory and closing comments at the beginning and end of each day, so respondents know that, hey, I'm done for today, and I'm gonna log back in tomorrow, or wait for a probe coming via email or push notification from the moderator. So those are some of the differences that you may tweak your guide in the itracks bulletin board platform. And then in the real-time environments, whether it's chat or video, you do want to make sure that as you're moving through your discussion guide, that the respondents are in fact responding. We actually provide technology to assist with that, so you can actually see when people are or have not yet replied to a particular question in the technology. So we actually provide a little bit of help with that in the real-time environment. And then that's in the chat platform. And then in the video chat software, that really is more like a traditional experience, so not as much modification to your discussion guides in that technology, because you are asking the respondents to answer one at a time as you're going through your discussion guide questions.
Great. All right. We do have a number of questions, and we will contact you after if we weren't able to get to your question. We just have time for one more question here. So, Joel, when using the video chat platform, is there the capability to poll the respondents in real time? How is this recorded?
Yes, we can poll the respondents in real time in the video chat platform, And in fact, you can even, if you want to ask a poll question on the fly, you can actually set one up on the fly if you become experienced as an online moderator in just a few moments. It's actually very easy to program. Normally they'd be set up ahead of time. And then for receiving the data from the polling answers, it is available once your group is closed. It's also recorded in the screen recording, so you actually get a video recording of any polling answers that are coming from the respondent's perspective. So you see those aggregate responses in the video, but then you also would receive a small report after the group is finished of the poll answers.
Super. All right. Well, we are getting to the end of our session now. Thank you very much for attending.